What's the biggest thing that stresses people out when they're trying to lose weight? The damn scale. The scale is something that just tends to stress people out because people expect the scale to always drop and they expect their fat loss to be linear. But that is not the case. So today I want to go over why we fluctuate in weight, why it's normal, and also weight trends, and break this down for you guys so you can stop stressing over that damn scale. So let's take a look back here on the board. So what I have here is I have a graph. So on this graph I have our weight, I have with time. So you'll see this graph is really funky. So it's just all over the place. But the thing that I want to point out to you guys is the way the graph is trending. And it is trending downward. So even though the data on the graph is just all over the place, which represents daily weight fluctuations, our average is trending down. So that is showing us that we're making progress, even though that scale is fluctuating from day to day. So why does the scale fluctuate? The scale fluctuates for many of reasons. So first one, lack of sleep. If you're not getting enough sleep, you will be heavier the next day. And it doesn't mean it's body fat. It just means that your body has not recovered enough. And that's why you're weighing more. The next one is lack of bowel movements. So let's face it, food in, food should come out. But if you're not having that happen, where food's coming in, but nothing's coming out, guess what? That scale is going to be heavier. It doesn't mean it's body fat. It just means you haven't used the bathroom and you need to. The next one is stress. So stress wreaks havoc on everything. When we are stressed out, especially over the scale, it is going to stop progress altogether. It can cause fluid retention and it can cause body fat gain. So keep that in mind. If you're a high stressor, you need to nip it in the butt or you're never going to make progress. The next one is for the ladies. You're close to your period. So if you're close to or on your period, your weight will fluctuate, especially if you're 2 weeks to a week and a half out to 1 week out. You are going to experience some fluctuations. Now, you're not gaining body fat, even though I know when we're on our cycles or close to it, we don't feel our best. We are just experiencing fluid retention, and a lot of that's just coming from hormonal fluctuations. So again, it's not body fat and it is completely normal. The next one, cell swelling, cell inflammation. Now, if you just trained a large muscle group, more specifically, let's say legs, because legs are the biggest muscle group within our body, you are going to experience some type of cell inflammation or cell swelling, which is going to cause some fluid retention. And because of that, it's going to cause that scale to fluctuate. Again, it's not body fat. The next one is digestion. So if your digestion is off, it can definitely impact your weight, especially if you had a very large meal before you go to bed, and you go to bed, you wake up, you're heavier. That digestion system hasn't had enough time to really break down all of that food. So that's why you're heavier on the scale. It's not body fat. It's just digestion has not been fully completed yet. The next one is high sodium, not enough water. So if you have high sodium and not enough water, that's going to cause some fluid retention. So of course, that is going to cause the scale to be heavier. Again, it's not body fat. Lastly, you just plain overate. So I don't want to sugarcoat it and leave that off of the list, but overeating can definitely cause the scale to fluctuate. And if you do it very often, it can cause body fat gain, unfortunately. But if you did overeat and you happen to see an influx in the scale, don't worry about it. Just get back on track and your weight will come back down. So some other progress markers that you should look at besides just the damn scale is taking measurements of yourselves, taking weekly measurements where you're fasted. So your measurements would consist of arms, waist, hips, glute fold for the ladies, legs, and chest for the males. That's a good indication if you're making progress. And you can do this weekly, or you can do it bi-weekly or monthly. There's no right or wrong way to go about it. The next one is taking progress pictures. Progress pictures are always going to give you the real picture as to what's going on. So you can take progress pictures bi-weekly or even monthly. I wouldn't recommend doing them weekly, only because you may not see big changes weekly, but bi-weekly is more than enough time, or even monthly is more than enough time where you should see some changes. And last but not least, how do your clothes fit? If your clothes are fitting you better, then obviously that's an indication that you are losing weight regardless of the scale fluctuations. And then how are you feeling? So if you're feeling better, that is a good indication that you are on your way to getting to where you want to go. You just have to stay consistent with it. So hopefully this kind of breaks up that stress for some of you out there in regards to the scale. So if you have a bad relationship with the scale, please understand all of these factors that I went over. And the most important thing that you can do when it comes to the scale is think analytically. Don't be so quick to jump to conclusion. So go through some of these things that I've listed on here and ask yourself these questions, and that should give you that peace of mind.